Can you use Scrivener for poems? Well, let's see. Hi, my name's Juliet, and today I'm going to be talking about the poetry format in Scrivener 3 for Windows. As usual with these formats, there is an About the Template section and a sample manuscript. The first thing I would say from this is that it is very obviously only intended as a format for submitting poems in a word processing type format, so I won't be covering paper books or ebooks in this video. Let's look at the page header first. As usual, this has been populated with the information from the author information in the options. It also has an extra bit of code for the line count. Plus, it has inserted a title. Well, that seems to have come from the title of the project, because that's what I called it. Should I write a poem with that title? Obviously, that text is easily overwritten, but it's something to bear in mind when using this template. The actual poem page is blank, but down the left-hand side you'll see there is a grey column. This is where your lines will be counted. It is set up to count every fifth line, but you can change the defaults. You ought to have known I would do that. To change those defaults, go into the View menu and select Text Editing. There you can turn the numbers off completely, or you can change them to every line by deselecting Count Every Fifth Line. This template has its own poem format in Compile. Everything is set up in Assign Layouts, and it's suggested that if you want to change fonts, you use the global change at the top of the central section. No point in complicating things. When compiled, the line numbers don't appear in the text, but are used to create the number of lines in the header. If your poem goes on to 2 pages, however, you get a header, and this is obviously not populated from the title of the project or from the author information. Let's investigate where that comes from. Well, it's not from the metadata. There is one other option. That was used in another template, but that's not set up here. Yes, that works. So what you do here depends on whether this is a one-off or you're going to use this template a lot. If it's a one-off, I'd just change it in the Word document. If you write and submit a lot of poems, what you need to do is to create a replacement. There is a general replacement option in the main screen, but the code isn't set there, so we need to get that. To do that, we need to open up the format, so double-click on the section layout or the title. Under the page settings, go to Header and Footer Text, and then look at the options for the main body, and you'll see that draft title code. Copy that and either use the replacements box in this Poem Compile template, or in the main one we saw earlier. Paste the code into the first column, and in the second, type the title of your poem. Also check that box for case matching. Then it'll work. What I would suggest you do if you're going to use this a lot is to make the change in the actual Poem Compile format and save it as a My format. That way it'll be listed in every project you open with the right settings. I'd recommend watching this video next.